What was
the breaking point? You asked me what was the breaking point.
The straw that broke the camel's
so
back.
So I was already like extremely disturbed with whatever was happening, because even after he went for his Vipassana, he did calm down for a bit, but then his extreme nature started showing again. And I'm like, oh my God, I have given already a lot of time into it. And then one fine day he said, if I see you at home tomorrow, you better be prepared. I'm going to kill you. That was it. And that the fact that he said that I'll kill you and your child, I was like, this is it. I mean, I don't think so. I'm staying here even a moment now.
Bahrain and India has more in common.
Yeah, see,
than
Bahrain, Kuwait. I'm saying the full Middle East. I'm not actually specifically saying Dubai,
no,
but it's Middle East.
The reason I bring up Bahrain is because both of those nations have been colonized by the British.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And in fact, Bahrain was longer colonized than India.
Yeah.
From 1970 something until from almost 1801 to 1971.
71. Yeah.
So and independence of India was 1947.
47, right? 1947.
So there's more in common culture-wise.
No, so I'm not saying that Bahrain, of course, I've personally not been to Bahrain, but when it comes to the whole of Middle East, I think it's culturally, we are very close-knit as well, right? Like there is some Arabic influence among Indian culture and Indian influence in Arabic. You know, we're very close-knit. Like Arabs, for example, this is what I have felt, that they are also very close to the family. They move together, you know, they go out together. All of that.
I totally agree
so it's pretty much like Indians. It's not like European culture where you're like, you're living alone. You see your parents when you see them, you know. Where in here it's different, right? You gather quite a lot. And if you don't have extended families, you make friends who are like family.
No, I
so
totally
that's
agree.
another thing. Yeah.
I mean, both our cultures, at least in the old way.
Yeah.
The wife used to move into the husband's family.
Yeah.
And it usually was the firstborn if the house was big enough, and the second and third.
Yeah.
You know, you had to go get their own house or whatever if the house wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
So both of them have very shared customs in these aspects.
Absolutely. And that's why. So if you look at food, you look at cinema, all of it is inspired. Like you will see some reflections everywhere. Like some of the music that I hear sometimes in Indian cinema, like it's something very Arabic.
It has a tune to it.
It has, those beats, and this is something common. And culturally, of course, there is 100% no doubt.
And let me get a little bit into it. So being a single mom, I guess you must face a lot of issues, both with time management, working around with how you're doing it with work.
Yeah.
And how do you plan that? How do you build yourself in a place where you have enough time for yourself, enough time for the kid, enough time for the work?
So, like I said in the starting, by the way, are we already shooting?
A long time ago.
Really?
Yeah, this is how it is. It's just super candid.
All right. Okay, fine. Okay. So, I obviously, my biggest thing is how do I prioritize things, right? And especially when you're doing multiple tasks, it's very important that you prioritize, whatever you're doing. So like I said, the L'Espresso magazine, which is more like where I write content and, talk about the luxury lifestyle. And then my blog, which is the Instagram, where it is more about what I'm doing in daily life. It's not exactly luxurious, but it's a mix of my, what I would do on a regular life. Maybe go for a nice hair color to, meeting someone like you, so that's what my Instagram is about. It's very regular. It's very regular. It's not just like, I'm just putting up something for the sake of it. I don't do that. So if it's making sense in my life, those are the type of gigs I would pick up, or those are the type of brands that I would pick up.
Interesting.
So I would not really go out of my way to do something drastically different, which is not part of me.
Okay.
So that is something that I'm very particular about, that it has to be somewhere like part of my lifestyle. And that's where I save a lot of time, because I don't have to go out of my zone to kind of work things out. And that's where you save a lot of time. But when you try to be someone else, you try to do something different, then it's a problem. Then you have time issues that, okay, fine, I couldn't do it because I don't have enough time. So I think it's important to just, get your content or whatever you're doing within your lifestyle rather than just doing something out of the way.
And so what would you say is your niche currently with your blog?
It's lifestyle.
It's lifestyle?
It's lifestyle.
So is it more vlogging or is it more...
It's a mix. I mean, of course, vlogging has become so popular now, especially since COVID when, Reels came into picture. So the whole content consumption has changed. Now the attention span has become so small. Nobody wants to watch a video which is long, right? Like there used to be IGTV before, but where we used to do 3 minutes videos and 4 minutes. But now nobody wants that. In fact, people don't even want 60 seconds now. They want how short and how interesting it is. So I'm still working on that. I would say I'm work in progress. I haven't mastered that art yet, but it's kind of going on. So I would say video is definitely the key right now when it comes to content creation. I mean, if you can create something interesting in 10 seconds or 20 seconds, why would you want to do a 1 minute thing?
Well, where do you fit your content into it? Do you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to plan out a script and go and do something? Or do you sit there and go, you know what, let me just go on Instagram Live or TikTok Live or whatever?
Yeah, so lives are of course very candid, like something like, how we are right now talking. So it's very candid. It's never scripted. Live, I think if it's scripted, it's going to be a walk. It's not going to turn out that good, right? So it's the best not to go scripted. But when you're doing brand videos, for example, if you have a particular brief from a brand, then of course you have to go a little bit into the detailing of their product offerings. So it need not be scripted, honestly. It could be very normally your way because that's how your audience will relate to you. The moment I make it very scripted, if a brand comes to me, I want this particular script, and I would be like, you know what, this is not really suiting my audience. It's not going to go with my personality. So I have to be very honest about the fact that this is not going to work. And that's why it has to be natural. It has to fit in your lifestyle, etc. What I spoke about.
So on your analytics side, what is more of your audience type? Are they more men? Are they more women? Younger, older? What are we looking at?
Well, Instagram is more men than women.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like 56% men and the rest women.
I think
something
ours
like
is
that.
about 90% men.
Yeah, okay.
We're attracting a lot of dudes.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah. But I feel the Instagram audience, if you look at it, it's, we say that women are more on it, but trust me, in terms of audience, you'll see a lot of men. Yeah, so sometimes it gets to 50-50, sometimes it's like 56 and the rest. So it depends. But I would say on an average, it's 50-50.
And most of it...
Middle East. Yeah, GCC followed by India and then other countries.
Interestingly, ours is mostly US.
Yeah, so US, because of course US is again a great market. So I also get audience from US, the UK, and now because I travel a lot to Europe, etc., I also get audience from there because when you're traveling, you're kind of creating content around that country, so you get audience from there. But I would say that my majority is GCC followed by India.
And what got you into traveling more? You just like going on holidays, or you trying to find work down there?
Yeah, so like I said, when I started writing, I was not, so it was not about Instagram posts. It was more about writing detailed blogs about my travel experiences, like going to Bali or 5 things to do in Bali and things like that. And I was traveling as a mommy, baby kind of thing. So that's how it started, right? But then it was getting very taxing because you want to travel with your family, but at the same time, you want to relax. You don't want to just keep creating content because that kind of takes the charm away of that holiday, So then I decided that I will do work trips separately and I'll do holidays separately. So if on a holiday, if I'm in a mood to wear something nice and go to the beach and do some shots, fine. But I'm not going to make it in my schedule that on a holiday I have to shoot these 5 looks and I don't take up any collaborations because I want to be comfortably dressed. I want to be myself. And the moment if you take up any work or the moment you do any sort of content creation, then your family time, obviously, you have to compromise on that. So I try to keep it separate.
So
I do some trips which are exclusively family, and then we create content what we create. But there's no hard and fast rule that, okay, tomorrow morning I have to wake up and create content at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. Right? Then you're just doing your way. You wake up when you wake up, you do your breakfast, spend time with the kiddo, or if I'm traveling with my sister or whoever. So it's just like family time.
Okay. And how did you transition into the content creation world? How did you know what price to charge for your content posts and with working with brands?
Sure.
I'm assuming in the beginning you were happy to get whoever, right?
We all are, right? That's how we all start. So when, of course, in 2012 when I started, and I started getting a lot of brands slowly, they started approaching, oh, we would like to send you a gift, or we would like to send you a beautiful dress. Could you wear that and, showcase it on your Instagram? Or we would like to invite you to our restaurant. So it started like that. It was more about barter, which we call it, like an exchange of service. Like I'm giving them some post on my page, and they are in return providing me with something nice. Yeah.
Whatever.
So it started like that, and obviously
Can
you...
I offer you anything to drink?
No, don't worry. No, it's fine.
You don't want a coffee?
No, I'm good.
Orange juice?
Yeah, no, I just had my breakfast before coming. I'm good. Seriously.
Okay.
For now, you go on.
I feel like I'm a bad host, but go on.
No, I'm good. I would have asked for it. So it of course made
We have room
sense.
service. You can have anything you want.
No, I'm good. Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it started like that, where the brand started approaching, inviting, asking us to create content. This is how the influencing scene or the content creation scene started.
Okay.
And then obviously it got structured over time. Then you have to think of your strategy. Like, what are you going to be doing? What are you talking more? What is the percentage of your content? So for example, right now I also talk about wellness. Like I said, I'm also a yoga practitioner. I'm an instructor. I do take classes. I teach, in fact, a lot of old people. And so I wanted to divide my content now in a way that it's not just wellness, because I've been talking about so many other things throughout this journey. So I wanted to kind of keep a percentage. Okay, so if I'm really doing a nice yoga thing this morning, I would just put up a post. There's nothing hardcore about it.
You got into you got into being a yogi 5 years ago?
So I used to practice myself, but then I got professionally trained. And I went to Rishikesh in India, and I did my yoga teacher training, which is for multi-style yoga. So Ashtang, Hatha, you must have heard these names. So I started training there. I was there for a couple of months. I finished my course, and now I'm studying MA in yoga science to go more deeper into it. So it's a 2-year MA, is Masters of Yoga Science. So I'm doing that. So I would say I started in the beginning of COVID, but that was self-practice. And then towards the end of COVID, I got myself professionally trained for it.
And do you practice the spiritual aspect of yoga as well, or more the physical aspect of
Both, actually. I am also a meditation instructor, so I can do pretty good meditation classes. Cool. Yeah, no, so I do both. And see, yoga cannot be just physical. It's very, people say it can be just physical. The power yoga, the way it's been sold, it's all about physical, doing headstands and handstands. But no, I don't believe in that. Of course, it's great for probably shedding some weight and, having a toned body, which we all want, which is great. Gym also helps you in that. But yoga is more about how you align your body, mind, and soul, in short, like how aligned you are. It's never about how good asanas are you doing, like how good you are at an asana. It's not about that. It's about how much you are enjoying that particular asana and how you're tuning your body around it. So for example, if I do a particular, asana, I go into the depth of it, wherein I'm holding that posture for a longer time. And that's where you see, okay, it's working differently. Your mind completely shifts, So I would say yoga is not physical. It's been wrongly promoted by a lot of people that it's just for physical appearance, but not at all. It's overall. It's like you're more calmer. you deal with your stress. Of course, we are all stressed, but you deal with it in a very sensible way. You don't go overboard with how you feel, because it kind of gives you a very good platform to channelize that energy. And I think we all need to channelize our energy in the right place to have that kind of, stability. And that's what yoga has done to me. I think I've gone through a lot of shit with my, fighting in the courts, custody of the child, and a lot of that. And I'm fighting right now. So it's you go through those days where you're like, what am I doing? Like, my life is still, I'm wasting so much time in it, where I can do so much better. But it's just what it is. Like, if it means to fight for your rights, I think one has to. And if it's in the righteous way, and if it's good for you and for your child and for the future of everyone else, then you fight it, right? So, of course, but there's stress. There's regular stress. It's not just, I would say I take very little work stress. I believe if the work has to come, it will come, if I'm doing the right things and if it's meant to. And that doesn't mean that I don't work towards it. Of course, I work towards it. I make sure that I do my meetings. I make sure that I'm, reaching out to the right people, or they're reaching out to me, whatever. So a little bit of network, but I'm not like networking 7 days a week. I'll do once in a fortnight or something like that. So I'm one of those. So I don't take too much stress about work, to be very honest. But yeah, I mean, yoga has helped me personally to come out of a very dark spot.
And what was the root cause of the whole drama, the whole divorce proceeding?
All right, okay.
Because I can feel there's a lot of
there's
a lot of tension still there.
Yeah, there is, because it's. Okay, so let me just briefly tell you that.
By the way, we can edit anything out. So you get to say what you want cut.
Yeah, sure.
So that way we can have a super candid conversation.
Sure. No, so
I can see that you're a little.
No, I mean, I really don't mind. It's not something that's hidden from my audience. But to be very honest, I was in an extremely abusive marriage. So it was not just mental abuse, it was physical abuse.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I used to get beaten up, have sore eyes, face, multicolors on my face. So it was terrible. And I think I did give enough time to the person to work things out, and took him to doctors or do whatever possible, right? It took me 9 years to get out of a marriage which was abusive from the very first month.
And was it an arranged marriage at the time?
So I met him through my brother in Dubai.
Okay.
And that's how we met. And then we saw each other for a couple of months, and it was a family arranged thing, similar caste, everything same.
No red flags at the time?
No, because...
or were you just in denial and you just closed your eyes?
If I knew even 1%, I don't think so I would make that mistake, right? But some people can act really well.
Because you realized there were issues within, you said, the first month of marriage?
First month of marriage, yeah. And from the first month of marriage,
how long were you guys together before the marriage?
Just 6 months.
So in that 6 months, you didn't see, there was nothing...
Yeah, nothing major. Like a very small thing happened wherein he asked me to eat something particular, and I was like, no, but I don't like it. And he's like, no, but you should try. But it wasn't that forceful that time. And then it became like, forcing and dictating my life. That was also still bearable to an extent, because I came from a culture where I've seen that, okay, women to an extent have to compromise on things because men in our society is given so much priority over women. So I came from that culture since my childhood, where I've seen my aunts, my moms, and my mom and everybody, doing things for their husbands and be polite even if they're rude, right? But here it was not just restricted to that. It was not just about being rude and being, ungrateful. It was like the physical and mental torture where the person would not let you sleep for days, or just do weird, very, very weird thing, like make you sit down on a sofa for straight 24 hours and not let you get up, and just abuse the whole family. or an abusive. Like it was crazy.
But
in short.
I mean, absolutely, it sounds completely terrible. I'm very sorry you went through that.
Yeah, so I was like trying to keep up a face because my professional life was great. My personal life was completely messed up, but my professional life was great in a way. I was working with Altair Group. I had a great job. I was making decent money there.
Was your partner also making decent money at the time?
Yeah, he was always doing very well in his career. Like there were bits and pieces in those 9 years where he was jobless because of his behavior.
So it did affect also corporate life?
Yeah, of course. Twice he was asked to leave his corporate life because of his behavior. Like once he wrote on social media how mentally sick he is and he beats me and my son up. Like he wrote on social media and the HR saw it.
Okay, but then at that time, there is some semblance of in his mind that what he's doing is wrong.
Yeah, of course, because
he couldn't.
Because I feel it's not just the person, there's a psychiatric issue.
Okay.
And if you are in denial of not accepting and taking help, then you would always be in that denial. Did you understand, like, childhood traumas? It could be that. I see it is a bit of that maybe. And also a very, very hardcore narcissist trait where they live in an illusionary world. So it was more like an illusionary world where things has to happen this way. Like, it's written in black and red that it has to happen this way. So living with a narcissist completely drains you down. Like, I used to have anxiety myself because, oh my God, how do I deal with this? And then I had to slowly kind of understand that it's not me. The problem lies there because he is making sure that he's putting you down at every possible end.
But I mean, this is the part that's concerning, is that you still chose to have a child with him.
So, okay.
After the first month of...
Like I said...
It takes 9 months to have a kid, what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And for 4 years, we did not have a kid. After 4 years, it happened. But...
oh, God. So you were with him for 4 years?
I was with him for 9 years. 9 years of abusive relationship. Now, I'll tell you...
What was the straw that broke the camel's back?
Yeah. So firstly, I'll tell you, of course, I was stupid. At the same time, I was extremely naive. What I am today, I don't think so. I was that person who could speak about anything at that particular point. I was very naive. And I used to be like, you have to work out your marriage. How can you let go of your marriage? It was that. Like, I have not seen anybody in my families, even far off families, getting divorced. This is the first case in our family that has happened. And I was like, I have to work it out. Probably there are teething issues. So a couple of years just go in those teething issues that, okay, I need to understand him better. Let's do this. Probably that would make him happy. And then you do something else that would...
Why do worse guys get the best wives? What's the situation with that?
I don't know, because I think I completely was stupid.
Because I've seen it from the other side of that equation, where I see a lot of girls that go on dates and stuff, and they say, listen, I want to get married because I can then do whatever I want. And I was like, what?
What do you mean by whatever?
Exactly. And they're like, oh, because my family's so restrictive. And I was
fuck, no.
Yeah,
so that way, no, I never had.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying that
people
I see
in general.
The opposite of that, where they're like, I want to get married in order to then like go traveling and work and wear what I want and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you don't want to get married. You want to live your life,
a different life,
right? And if that's like your situation and that's what you want, then tell your family, go fuck themselves, and leave. Why get married and then end with a divorce?
No, absolutely. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
I experienced that.
But I was 24. I was 24 that time, and in our culture, again, I'm coming back to culture because it is a cultural-driven thing for me. This is what happened.
By the way, how's the situation with your brother with this?
No, I mean, you cannot. I just met him through him. He was not the one who told me that you have to marry him.
No, but I have a sister, and I feel like if my sister met someone through me, I would murder that man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, of course, my family, they told me in the very starting to leave him. my family, wherein my parents come from a very small town of India. They're not from Bombay. It's a small place in Rajasthan, and they come from.
I was about to say Rajasthan because
Rajasthan.
From the beginning, I said that only people from Bombay call it Bombay. I do it immediately.
Yeah. No, so I'm originally from there. I moved to Bombay only after 15, for my education and stuff. So I'm not from Bombay, but yeah, I've lived most of my life there, like the majority of my adult life there. And so of course they come from a very small town, but they were so understanding about the fact that you could leave if you want to. But I was like, no, I have to work it out. It's marriage. I cannot let him. And it was like a loop. So for example, today he's done something crazy, idiotic with me, and then he's like crying and making sure that he says sorry, and I'm very sorry that I did this. But if you would have not done this mistake, this would have not happened. So you believe, okay, the next time.
So you're gaslighting.
It was gaslighting. It was major gaslighting.
And what was the
breaking point? You asked me what was the breaking point.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
So I was already like extremely disturbed with whatever was happening, because even after he went for his Vipassana, he did calm down for a bit, but then his extreme nature started showing again. And I'm like, oh my God, I have given already a lot of time into it. And then one fine day he said, if I see you at home tomorrow, you better be prepared. I'm going to kill you. That was it. And that the fact that he said that I'll kill you and your child, I was like, this is it. I mean, I don't think so. I'm staying here even a moment now. And that's it. And that was the weekend.
Did you just pack up and leave in front of him, or did you wait till he leaves and then left?
No, I packed. I actually did not take all of my stuff. I just packed. I did not even think that I'm going forever. I just went to my sister's place from there. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going back.
And did he try to message you?
He tried to threaten me a lot. Threatening messages. Nothing from their family wherein like, oh, come back, let's sit on the table. Nothing of that sort for a couple of months. And he started threatening me then that I'll do this. He started sending emails about me, like bad emails about me to my HR, where I used to work, like Altar Group. Yeah, that she's not the right person whom you should have kept in your company, and things like that.
This is not the first time that I've heard stories like this.
Okay.
I never understood from a business owner perspective.
Yeah.
Because I own 2 businesses.
Okay.
I will never in my life, if I've never received it, but if I ever receive a message from HR saying, or somebody messaging me from outside saying, oh, this person is bad, would I give that any credence?
Exactly.
It's so weird to me. I've never because I hear the story a lot. Yeah. I heard one person come to me a couple of days ago. She said, oh, if I tell you that, let's say Akash, who isn't here, he touched my daughter wrongly and this kind of stuff, you should then go and fire him. And I looked at her and I was like, no.
Yeah,
just because you said something doesn't
you
make
have to
it like,
figure out.
Yeah, it doesn't make it real. And even if he did, that's something for the courts to decide and not me.
Sure.
It's so bizarre. Anyway, so what did HR do?
So no, they just
looked at it and was like,
no. But anyways, I quit.
You were gone by that point.
I quit, and I was like, you know what? I mean, what can I say? So, I have lived with this person for so many years, so. It's just like, it's for you. They didn't tell me anything. They just said, we just received this email and we thought it's very important that we just forward it to you. Because then he started doing with tons of people, like sending them Facebook messages saying, you must unfriend her if you want to be my friend. They're like, dude, we want to be her friends for sure.
Psycho.
Yeah, so these kind of things, writing notes, writing lots of emails to me saying I would go to Dubai courts. Then he finally did go to Dubai courts, okay? And he filed a case saying I've kidnapped the child and asking for divorce under Muslim provision, right? Wherein we are Hindus. So he technically cannot say that I want to get divorced as per the Muslim law, because it's for...
You're not Muslims.
We are not Muslims, right? So if you want to do that, then you better convert and do that, right? That's the way you are supposed to be doing, I suppose.
But you can't convert post.
Yeah, post. Yeah.
You can't be like...
Yeah, but it was very funny. And this is what... And then, so what happened is, that time I was back home, right? And then... I got a notice somewhere in November 2017 or October 2017. But before that, I had filed a divorce already in India.
And you didn't write a cease and desist? Oh, not cease and desist, sorry. You didn't go to court to get, what are they called? That they can't come in with 100 meters of you and stuff like that?
No, so...
I don't know what they... Dan,
what
are they called?
Restrictions, restrictions.
Or something restrictions.
Yeah.
You didn't do any of that stuff?
No, he didn't do that.
But you didn't do any of that?
Yeah. No, I tried to do that. But it didn't. So, like I said, I went to India. Restraining order.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I went to India, right? And I tried doing that, and I'm still fighting a case about that.
You're fighting the case in India? Or?
As well. Here I won even Supreme Court.
Jesus Christ.
So what happened is he then went to lower court. He lost the lower court because his case was like, I proved everything, right? I had everything. Cops had come home to save me. So I had everything in Dubai, right? So of course I won the lower court. Then he appealed in the high court, and then he appealed in the Supreme Court. So he basically lost all 3 courts. And then after Supreme Court, he disappeared. Like, he disappeared because the court asked him to pay. So
now he's on the run.
So now he's moved to India, because obviously in India, no one can catch hold of him. And in India, you can do whatever you want, because the Indian courts are like forever. Like, you can just literally, they can go on for forever. So now he's trying to fight a case there, because he knows it can go on for forever. Where in here, it's not the case.
But you can get an extradition treaty from Dubai.
No, unfortunately for divorce, for divorce and stuff, family matter, there's no extradition.
But there's the extradition on
battery. For other stuff. And, absolutely. Yeah. But not for this sort of stuff.
I mean,
Dubai has already put a newspaper ad, which they do, saying this person is supposed to come to the court, pay, etc. They do all the formalities, whatever they're supposed to be doing, but he never turned up. So I don't know whether he would ever turn up.
But you can still go to the courts and I mean, you can sue somebody even if they're not present in court. And you can sue them for battery. You can sue them from abuse.
Yeah, but he's not going to be coming here.
You don't have to. You don't have to. He doesn't have to come here. But you can get an extradition treaty from the court to make his ass come.
No, but do you think extradition treaties are applicable for this situation? Not really, because our countries are fighting bigger issues. Which is probably but other bigger murders, or I don't know what all it could be. Yeah, but this is the smallest, tiniest thing.
I don't think you have to put yourself down that way. I mean, I think
I should figure it out.
I think you deserve your justice, and
sorry you went through that. Yeah. But anyway, so that was my story, and it's still going on. So, but I'm at a very, very, very happy place.
Because it's costing you money and energy and mental
stress
and all the family as well.
Yep.
Here you go. He wants breakfast.
We have time?
Of course.
Okay.
Huh? You want breakfast, buddy?
Yeah, so that's pretty much my personal status right now. But I'm happy that I have my child with me, whom I'm able to, raise in a nicer way than probably what it was in when we were together, where he was seeing me getting beaten up.
And now with this situation, does he have a father figure, or how does he? Because it's important for, especially.
I try to.
Your brother?
Yeah, I mean, of course, my father, my brother, and my cousins and all are there. Some of my friends also try to be there, but he's pretty much like I try to do most of the roles, and when at some spots when I find it hard, that's when I tell my brother or somebody to kind of get involved. that, okay, this particular thing, I think probably you can tackle it in a nicer way. So, of course, I do that. But my parents, like, they're quite helpful and they're really nice and supportive. So,
but they're all the way in India, no?
Yeah, but they can always come here. My dad keeps coming here anyway. So, plus I have my brother and my brother-in-law and sister here. So, that's not a problem. Plus, I do a lot of in and out because of the courts and everything. I do a lot of in and out. Yeah. I do a lot of in and out. So, for example, I have a shoot here today. Like, I scheduled the shoot. Then, again, in a couple of days, I'll have to go back. I have a court date and things like that. So, I just keep, I would say literally I'm going every month.
Jesus Christ. That's draining you both financially and mentally.
Well, I think so. With yoga comes the thing. Okay, I had to deal with it. I'm dealing with it in the best way possible. I think this positive energy came from there. Before I was like, oh my god, what's happening? But now it's like, you know how you have cancer and you have to go for chemo every now and then. So I've kept it in that spot. It's a problem. It's a court where I have to go every now and then for a treatment. It's like that. I have placed it in that box, so it doesn't affect me that much. You do get failed by so many things, and that's where your willpower of letting go.
But I mean, it's very hard to let go when you have to go to court every month.
Yeah, of course. Like right now, because this topic came up, we are talking about it. I'm going into the depth of it. But if I'm sitting normally, like, just a regular day, I'm not really thinking about so much about it.
Sure, but it's still like...
Of course.
I mean, you're not dealing with it consciously, but subconsciously, it's still eating at you.
Of course.
It's stressful going to court. It's not,
Yeah, but I still have the faith that it would come to some conclusion, as per the laws. I mean, this is what I feel, because going any other way is not going to be good for anybody. I won't be able to live with that thought of doing anything wrong to anybody, firstly.
Okay, you don't have
no matter how much bad he must have done to me, but after all, I had... So
I hang out with very different people.
Probably. All right. Okay.
Yeah, that's they're not too much worried about those kind of things.
Well, yeah.
Our family friend, he was a hanging judge in Texas.
Oh wow.
Where, in the sense, he would give execution as much as possible, and his argument for it was, I remember talking to him once, I was a kid. I said, why? He said, because they drain money on the state. Saving people's money.
Fuck, people would think like that.
And he himself said, he looked at me, he said, Hamid, any kind of issue, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter. He said, you take $1 billion, you smack it in the face of the problem. It disappears. And that was a hanging judge.
Well, money buys everything.
Yeah, exactly. And that was his attitude about the legal system.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure this happens.
I'm sure if you met the judge, there would be...
I really don't know how easy or difficult that would be, because... yes, like India is known for its corruption, but I don't know, like...
I was there during 2017, or was it 17 or 16 when they changed the bills?
Yeah.
I was there, and I remember seeing all that black money, and I remember seeing people sitting out on the road burning cash because it was just black money.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt if you ask your friends and friends of friends to sit down and meet the judge and stuff like that, and just
I haven't gone that path, because it's like the more you get into the shit becomes bigger is what I believe.
No, you cut it off from the root, right?
I need to figure something out. I should talk to people.
Listen, in my experience, coming from both business and professional, both business and personal, the more you deal with something outside of the system, the easier
it works faster. In fact, I tried to talk with him to do it mutually, but just doesn't work.
No.
He wants to put restrictions, like till the age he's 18. My child is 18. You shouldn't change city. You shouldn't change house. You shouldn't move anywhere. That means I'm still like not married to you, yet married to you. He wants to control. even though I'm not going to be with him or I'm not with him, he wants to control my life. And I'm, you know what? It's all right. Let's just deal with it as we are dealing. I don't think so there's anything mutual happening here, because what is mutual about it? There's nothing mutual about it.
I mean, this is the process of how I would do it if I was in your situation, if you were my client, and that kind of escape point. First, I would try to find out who the judge of the case is. Then I would make sure that I know what newspapers he reads. Then I would make sure to contact those agencies, make sure to pay them a little cash to have that story featured in it, so that that's already on his mind. He's already seen it in some format. And then go and speak to him through a third party and say, hey, listen, there's a personal issue, blah, 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 blah. Could you meet for coffee? Could you meet for lunch? And then you bring it up then directly to that.
Interesting.
So that's how that whole process then smooths and goes through. And then you don't have to be stuck in court until you're 50,
Fuck, yeah, that's true, actually.
That's
I turned 39 this year, and I'm like, fucking,
oh wow,
next
you don't look
year.
it at all. Mashallah.
And next year it's gonna be my big 40.
Oh, wow. Any big plans for your big 40?
I don't know. Maybe I would go to Peru.
Okay, why particular Peru?
I don't know. I've never been to America in general. So
Peru is South America.
South America, yeah. I've not been to like anywhere in the US. Like, I've not been to America. So I thought I would do a bit of South America, and then maybe the year later I will go to Vegas and all. So this was my plan for the next 2 years, but I don't know if I'm doing that or no. But
I think you'd enjoy Vegas. Vegas is interesting.
Vegas is good, yeah. South America, not so good.
I think it depends on who you travel with. I would not recommend you traveling with a bunch of your sister, for example, to Peru.
Alone? So most of my travels are alone.
I wouldn't. I mean, if you were my sister, for example, I would
oh, okay.
No. But then again, I wouldn't let my sister travel alone to India either. So there's that.
Okay. So I've been traveling alone most of, since last, how many years? Since 2017, I've been traveling alone. And of course, with my son. So we do some trips together. And then when I travel alone, my mom looks after him. So it's like that.
I would recommend you New York, Los Angeles.
SF.
Texas is also very safe. Los Angeles is pretty gutty at the moment. Okay. So maybe not so much.
But US in general is safer or no? It
depends on where you go.
Okay.
And it depends on
Chicago. How's Chicago?
Chicago is okay. I put the accent immediately on Chicago. Chicago is okay. I would recommend you New York more. New York is very good at the moment. Yeah. Seattle is good. Again, most of those places I'd recommend going out at daylight, going out at night.
It's not good. Yeah, I think that's mostly everywhere. Even the Europe is the same. That's mostly everywhere. You have to be careful.
London is good.
London is London. London. I went before COVID birthday. I did London with my son.
Did you
and
enjoy
my
it?
sister. Oh yeah. We loved it, and it was my second time to London.
If I would have met you earlier, you could have told me, and I could have given you places to go with your son.
Oh yeah, I did show him a lot of things around. But
I mean,
I'm sure.
I lived in London for 10 years, and I still have a place there, so I go back and forth. They've given you a whole list of things you can go with your son to. Not just like science museum and stuff
perhaps.
like that.
No, we know each other. Next time, perhaps.
I'll give you a whole list because I take my sister sometimes there.
Okay.
And there's like whole there's like I'll send it over to you. There's like a company that we use, and they plan out like day out with the kids. And so
interesting things to do, like activities and stuff.
So it's like 10.
But I felt that my son, he enjoys beach places. So for me, the safest and but he loves like Maldives, Mauritius, these kind of places, Thailand, because he wants to play at the beach, sand, chill, relax.
Brighton has a beach.
Yeah. Could go there, but he doesn't enjoy Europe or London so much. I mean, UK in particular is like you have to walk, and you know how all European and cities are, and also for the UK you have to that's not. I think probably a couple of years later he would be really interested. Right now, he's small for that. So, yeah. So, I take him to beach places mostly. He loves it.
I mean,
I've been to Maldives like so many times because he loves it, right? So, we just go there. And it's a quick holiday.
What about
Whether
Bali?
you're here. Bali also, we've been, yeah.
With your content that you're doing, were you ever worried that you're crossing over any boundaries or lines? Like unknowingly?
You have to be careful with that for sure.
But do you know where the boundaries are, or do you guess?
There are certain guidelines which every country has put up. So you just need to respect that. For example, foul language, which of course I anyways don't use, or dressing up in a certain way in terms of like, for example, Dubai is very liberal in terms of dressing. Sense you can wear whatever now. Before it wasn't the case. Before, if you would go to a Dubai mall when it was just built up, and if you're wearing a short skirt or shorts, they'll tell you just cover yourself, wear an abaya, and they'll give it to you in the mall itself. They used to give it to you. But now it's completely different. It's like 360-degree different, It's flipped. Now it's so liberal. It's not what it was in 2007, 8, 9. It's very different now. It's very open. They are open. They know that, okay, people are from so many different countries are living here, and we need to be open about it.
Interesting.
So it's now okay. Before, of course, I used to be careful in terms of what I wear. But now it's like, it's pretty chill. And of course, you need to respect. I feel it's important to, whether it's UAE or any country, it's important to respect the rules of the land if they are just about basic etiquettes. If it's about basic etiquettes. There's no harm in that because after all, you're living in that country, right?
Well, the reason I bring up this topic, because especially from doing a show, like a talk show like we generally do, in Bahrain, there are obviously certain boundaries, like there are in the US, but they're unwritten rules. Right? And so...
No, but you can be, if you're not following the rules, then you can be called out for it.
Yeah, I mean...
For sure.
For comments perspective, I don't give a shit what people write.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we've had phone calls, and we've had to go to like meetings. And the nice thing about Bahrain is that they will very clearly tell you, hey, buddy, don't
These
cross.
are the boundaries.
Don't cross this.
It. Yeah.
But in Saudi, for example, that doesn't happen. It's they just come into the studio and arrest. Okay,
yeah.
And I feel like that's the story.
I don't think so. In Dubai, it's like that extreme at all. I've never heard. Even before, it was not like that. But of course, like, for example, when I'm doing a campaign with, say, Dubai Tourism, now it's my responsibility that if I'm doing a campaign, I'm dressed nicely for it.
Okay.
When you say dress nicely, you're not supposed to be, showing too much of your skin. You just dress elegantly. I mean,
like
cover up. Chanel. Yeah. No,
I'm not saying Chanel particularly as the brand. I mean Chanel style. Which is very classic. And
little classic.
You know what I mean when
classy.
I say
Yeah, classy. But it's not about the brands I meant.
No, I didn't mean the brands. I meant like style.
Yeah, classic. Yeah, you can say a little bit classic, or you can say, little warm, not like overly,
Not too formal.
Not too vulgar, in other words.
Okay.
Not formal, vulgar. Like, you don't want to be seen in Dubai Mall with a mini skirt. Okay. When you're promoting Dubai tourism, like, you're not.
I feel like that's what people want to see.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't do that. I mean, this is
I'm not saying
basic common sense.
But I feel like that's the kind of attraction that they want, though.
Well, of course, people do that as well. But if I'm, doing a campaign, I wouldn't do it. But then, of course, if I'm at a beach and I'm not doing any work with a particular brand, if I want to post something, they don't have an issue. You can do whatever you want, right? They're not going to be like, oh, this girl, look at her dress. It's my choice, because ultimately dressing is something so personal, right? And in fact, you would be surprised. My ex, he went to the court with my pictures wherein I'm wearing like short skirts or, from our trips to other countries, etc. And he's telling the court, but she's not going to be a nice mother. Look at the kind of dressing she does, which is not like, I don't post bikini pictures, for example, right? I mean, of course I wear it, but I don't post it on my social media because, of course, I just don't want to. It's my choice. I'm not comfortable posting it, right? I don't want them creepy people coming in just to my profile to drop in some weird comments. I don't want that.
By the way, that's another topic that has to be discussed. Go on. Yeah. So what did the court say then? They looked at him like he was an idiot.
No, so of course they did. And they're like, no, but in your Indian culture, this is very okay. We see that Indians dress up like that. They party. They're telling him to do all of this. So what is so unique about it? And if she was Muslim and it was our culture, probably, it's different that she's not following the culture or whatever. But in your culture, it's okay. You are an Indian. You have this kind of culture wherein, you guys go party, go to pubs or go to bars or whatever. So it's different. So this is what he was just trying to portray, that, oh, fuck, this is how she is. And that's why you can't be a good mother, because that's your dressing sense. And
he thought we were what, in the early 18th century?
Yeah. I mean, it's so weird thing. Like, it's my choice. And when I was with you, you used to love it, and you would be like, oh, just wear something like this, something like that. Now, just because I'm not with you, you're trying to use that and defame me. I mean, anyways, I didn't react. I felt it was very stupid. But of course, we answered the court that it's very normal. Like, we were like pastry-ites. We used to be in the, City Times or Gulf News on the party pages all the time. So what's a big deal? So you were asking me about, what did you ask me about? The dress?
Oh, I was about to say, what kind of DMs do you get?
Oh, DMs. Oh, yeah. So, very funny DMs. Some are really funny.
Do you get a lot of feet pic requests?
No, not
really.
I do get, but not so many. But I get weird DMs in terms of the starting point. But of course, I don't open them, or I never reply to them, because they're like, you're very beautiful and your eyes say something, we feel, like weird things. Okay. And there was this one DM which was uniquely different. The person was writing poems, like long ones, about my eyes, about my face and everything. I was like, this is such a creepy DM. And then...
But you kept reading it though.
No. It's not that. Then I asked a few friends, like, do you get this kind of DMs? And they're like, fucking hell, the same one. The same person has been sending it to different people, the same text.
Oh, I don't know if that's smart or dumb.
But there are people like that. So, but you don't want to slide in your DMs because some are like really stupid. Some are like really gross as well.
I would try to remember one was, so one my friend told me about. What was it? It was on Snapchat, I think. And this is a Greek girl and a Greek guy, total stranger, just sent her a dick pic.
Oh, okay.
Just a total
yeah. I've heard this happens a lot on Snapchat because the stories disappear in after 24 hours or whatever. You can't really store them, right?
I mean, you can take a screenshot.
A screenshot, possibly. Yeah, that's the only way. So I think this happens on Snapchat. In fact, I've got DMs that, can you come on Snapchat?
Interesting.
Yeah, I've got DMs like that. That, can you come on Snapchat? I would love to, have a little private chat with you. And I'm like, of course I don't reply. And I'm like, oh, what is that? And that's how I realized that, okay, Snapchat is the place where people go and, do all these sort of things.
My favorite story I got told by a friend was from some creep who told her, like, oh, I really love your feet or something like that. And
these are normal.
But what made me laugh is, like, her face was just like crumped and confused. And I was like, what? Why? And she's like, I've never posted a picture of my feet ever.
So the multi-send button on. Yeah.
I will never forget it. Her face was literally like...
But because of these creepy DMs, I also, of course, in transition, like, you don't read the good ones in the sense which are for work or which are from people who are reaching out to you because of some work. And a lot of brands, sometimes they just DM. Or, their agencies just DM. So because I don't slide into DM because I know it's a lot of creepy messages are going to be there. So what's there? And then I realized, oh fuck, I'm losing so many brands out there.
So why don't you just get yourself like a PA?
Yeah.
I mean, you can get from one from Upwork. That's the one we use.
In fact, I keep. I do have some people who work with me who clean up the shit.
Yeah, so you don't have to look at it.
Of course, yeah. But sometimes you personally go, right? Like, okay, what's happening? You want to see your account as well, right?
I don't have a personal account. Dan fights with me all the time because I post stuff. Because that's not part of the brand. Don't do that kind of shit. What was the last one I posted that you got pissed with? I think so, yeah.
Okay.
No, I posted one with JFK being assassinated. Oh, okay, that's good. Thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah, so pretty wild.
So DMs, I'm sure most women get it. I don't know as much if you guys get it. But
no, we don't.
But
do you get a lot of comments or do you get more DMs?
More DMs than comments.
Right? Isn't that weird?
It is weird. And in fact, in the starting, I told you want to write something nice, you can comment.
Right? And like people.
And I would reply.
People DM you saying like nice video or.
Yeah, correct. A lot of them. I get tons of them.
Where you're like.
Every time I post, I get people just DMing you saying they're thinking that probably you're just going to reply and do like a private chat with. I fucking don't have the time to do that.
Do you think that's the case or do you think they're just too... Because we think...
They're too...
shy.
That also is the reason. No, or maybe they don't want to show...
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, they don't want to show... so many of them are either married or have girlfriends seeing somebody, and probably they don't want that, we write on a public platform where, oh, my girl can see, oh, you're sending hearts to this girl. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you're saying, oh, you're beautiful, or you're looking amazing, cute. I mean, don't you think I look good enough? These kind of things. And this is what actually a friend of mine who's a guy, he told me that, dude, I just commented on this girl's picture in general because she was looking fantastic and I had no, nothing about, like I was not thinking any other way. It was just very basic and normal. This is what he says. And and he's like, my girlfriend just took the she started shouting and she's like, what the hell? Why are you messaging these random people and commenting? You don't have time to comment on mine. Things like that. And that sounds like, okay, that is something probably, proves why people send DMs.
I mean, I wouldn't be happy if the girl I was dating was commenting on random guys' pictures. So I totally get where she's coming from.
See, it depends what kind of comments. If she's saying, oh, you're like, okay,
great six-pack. You like?
Yeah, probably you're not going to like that. Yeah, same. It's the same. I mean.
Great feet pics.
But if it's like a good post about something, the video is great, then you could say, oh, nicely done or something. But yeah. Probably it's the same. It's the same for women. They're also not going to like, and the guys are also not going to like it because if they're doing that.
We do very different content, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Most of the DMs we get are people who, when we say something like outrageous or crazy,
because they don't want to hear what you.
But they say thank you or like, hey, you know what? Thank you, or I think so too, or blah blah blah.
Okay.
But they won't say that as a comment.
Yeah, because they don't want to agree
publicly.
Publicly that they believe in that too.
We did one video, I think, and it got like we got into trouble for it, and it was if you're around 18 or if you're a young adult, you should be leaving Bahrain and go and work somewhere else. Okay. And then by the time you're 40, you should come back and bring your skills back in, right? Okay. So much like.
People said, okay, we agree.
People agreed in the DMs. So much people in the comments were like, no. they should stay all their life in Bahrain. Why are you leaving outside?
Yeah.
Or I think we made a video, I think at one point where...
See, now they are saying the right thing that they're supposed to be saying.
And then
that's the right thing.
Exactly. And then the DM, it's exactly the opposite of what they say in the comments. It's bizarre. Bizarre.
But we all, this is why we talk about, the double-faced world. We want to live someone else's life, but we are doing something else. And there is... People are scared to speak up, right? They are scared to speak up, whether it's their parents or family or whosoever. And I think that's where they're like, just keep quiet and just follow the rules as it is. It's a typical way. So it's just that. And also the acceptance in the society. If I say something like that, my friends are going to say, why the hell did you say that? You're not going to be my friend. Or probably they'll just disown you or something.
So... Yeah. Do you have the key? Cool. Well,
yeah.
How far do you think your content goes? Where do you think is still the safe line? What kind of just posting positivity.
No, you can't be posting positivity all the time because you're not positive all the time.
Yeah,
right.
But Bill Clinton and Barack Obama have a podcast, but nobody knows about it. Because it's safe, it's boring.
Yeah, of course. Nobody wants to hear the boring stuff. And then I do a little bit consulting work here and there.
On consulting?
Marketing.
Marketing?
Yeah, marketing, media. Like I said, my major experience is advertising business. So.
Dan, fix the mic. So you said marketing, but in what sense marketing? Formally in print. You do own a magazine at the moment.
Everything. Magazines.
How long have you been doing it? Is that profitable for you?
I've been doing it since 2007.
And it's been profitable for you?
Oh, no. Working with somebody?
No, the magazine.
You mean my own magazine?
Yeah.
No, I just started it in COVID.
Yeah.
Plus, it's not a physical magazine. It's just digital.
Because we've had a few people on the show. We've had 4 or 5 who own magazines.
No, physical magazines aren't doing well. The printed version, no, it's kind of dead. Only a couple of magazines on the top, like a Vogue of the worlds, they are doing great. But otherwise, no, it's not. But what I'm doing, it's a digital, you can say it's like a digital mag. Everything is digital. It's not a physical copy. So digitally, yes, it does good. We do cover shoots with celebrities every month. Then we do brand tie-ups. So we create content through video and website. So yeah, it's doing okay. But like I said, it's not, right now it's at a stage where I'm still building up because I started only in the second wave of COVID, not even the first one. So still building up on that. But it's getting good acceptance. It's doing well.
Because the people who we've talked to who own magazines from Bahrain, of course, it's a very different market than here. It's
a smaller market as well.
With 6 million. It's
exactly.
nothing, right?
Yeah.
And they mentioned that the power of their magazine is to leverage events.
Yeah, which is true.
That's what they said.
This is true because, so any magazines right now, they cannot survive just on ad sales, which is advertising, right? For example,
I gotta explain that.
Ad sales is how many times a Rolex would advertise in the same magazine? You'll do maybe 3 issues in a year. You're not going to be there in all 12 issues or 8 issues, whatever they're doing. So ad sales is something which is declining. People don't want to be there on an advertising space. But what they're okay with, like you as a magazine, if you can bring in the right crowd from my brand, then I tie up with you. You organize my event. You do the guest list. We curate an event together and kind of do it as a collaborative event. That works well.
And that's also what you're doing?
I'm doing that too. And that's where so the only way to make money right now is that. Because then an event, you have, a lot of permutations, combinations that you can work on. And it's always about how influential you are as a person. Like whom can you get for this particular brand at the event? If you can, then this is the right crowd that brand wants, then why not?
How does Dubai business work? When you do a sale for an event here, do they just want a number figure, or do they want to have a breakdown on the costs? Or do they want like a more formal
No, of course, you
quotation?
have to give a formal quotation with all breakdowns and it's very transparent. You just charge a fee on the event. You wouldn't charge on anything anywhere else.
It's very different than Bahrain.
No, they are making money on everything.
First, that's not, of course, but they also, they scrap from the top.
Oh, okay.
So it's very, very weird. And like, this is my business experience because I own a factory down there. Dan, you've had that experience as well because he's trying to run an event at the moment. Danny? Am I wrong or am I right? This is what you and Helene and whatever her name is.
No, but here it's pretty straightforward in terms of the costing. So if you've given a ballpark cost of say 50,000 dirhams, this what you're spending, and over whatever it is, I'm charging you a 15% fee.
Interesting, because
because it's very transparent, and then there's no gray area here, right?
It's very different in Bahrain. I mean, we talk to people who charge upwards of, at the minimum, and upwards of 200,000.
Okay.
And they bring Bollywood actresses in and stuff like that.
Yeah, so those actresses and all that cost a lot, and probably they must be like keeping a share out there.
They skim from the top, so they claim to the customer that they cost, I don't know, let's say 200,000.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, people do that here also, I'm sure, but then you have to be transparent because anybody can get say, for example, if you want to source a particular celebrity, there are 50 companies who can source that celebrity.
Exactly.
And whoever is the lowest, the client would go with that.
Exactly.
Rather than that, you being transparent, this is what is costing, this is what the celebrity cost is. And this is how the breakup of other things work out. So then it's easy. You don't have to do up and down in terms of costings and, do shopping. Like you don't have to go to 5 event creators to do that. So
in Bahrain, I'm telling you right now, that's
exactly I got you. Yeah. And that's how they work there, probably.
It's I don't know.
Because it's a smaller market, and I think probably they work a little differently. They're not also very events driven as such. It's not like Dubai where every day there are hundreds of events happening. In a day in Dubai you could have 15 events of different categories, and probably that's not the same case there.
And there's almost like a duality in the market.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And how's the mafia situation here in the UAE? Is it
mafia
really bad?
as in?
Media mafia.
Oh, media. No, it's pretty. So there's no mafia here. Like you mean the Lebanese media mafia?
Yeah. Indian media mafia, stuff like that.
No, it's not there anymore.
That's been broken apart?
It's been, I think in the starting, I used to hear that only Lebanese people do media jobs. But no, everyone is doing these days. This is when I came to Dubai, I was told that, mainly in media industry, you will see Lebanese, and they are the guys who kind of hold a big chunk of media buying and planning. But I don't think so that's the case anymore. Of course, there are a lot of Lebanese in this particular industry, but they are not the only one.
So what I've been told from people outside Dubai, not from people inside Dubai,
sure,
who left Dubai.
Yeah.
So maybe this is old information. They were saying that it's very tough to acquire clients here, specifically because the relationship with the existing industry. So what they mention is like, you're if it's an Indian company, they're going to get Indian clients.
That is not because that is not because of a mafia. It's about the comfort. Mm-hmm. Like today, as an Indian, if I go to an Indian client, they are more comfortable talking to me the way they want.
Okay.
It's like we are talking our language. Okay, I can do this work, and this is how we'll do. We have an understanding because you're from, like, each other in terms of, firstly, Dubai is very small. People, pretty much the industry people pretty well. So if you are an Indian and you have an Indian client, it works out just a little better. But having said that, that's not entirely true. I mean, a lot of Indian companies has Britishers who are handling the agency. So it doesn't matter. It's just about the comfort level. Like you're from Saudi, and the moment if we both go somewhere right now and you talking and fluent Arabic, you will get attention from that Arab person instantly, wherein probably not from an Indian guy. So it's just that. And the moment I talk in Hindi,
I think you have a benefit of the doubt because you're a woman. I think.
You can't fight that, right? That's a God-given. You can't fight that.
I don't think any Arabic or any language will help me. Come on.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. Besides that, you can't fight that. That will we always get preference. I mean, that's a fact. There's nothing hidden about it.
Use it, girl. Go for it.
Yeah, you always get that preference. But in spite of all of that, you will not get an event just because you're a girl. Probably you can have a better relationship in terms of if you know this person pretty well from,
Wasta.
Yeah, Wasta.
Like that's still
Vasta
something.
works, yeah. Vasta works in any industry. Why just media? I think Vasta works everywhere.
Okay.
Like when you say Vasta, it's like, for example, I want to do a campaign in a radio station. And I know the sales guys, say, for last 10 years. I know them pretty well. I've worked with them in so many campaigns. And if I have limited budgets, and I can always call and request that, this time I have only 100,000 dirhams. What can we do in this budget? And of course, but they know that this person has been giving me business for so many years. And let me make some exception and give them considerable rates.
Sure.
So that's like Wasta. That's about knowing somebody and, getting the best out of what you have. And it's not like you're making it up. You genuinely do not have the budgets. I've worked with so many brands at so many stages of my career. The brands did not have the budget, but they wanted to create a voice, a noise about it. So then you request people whom you know in the industry. You go to a Vogue or a Bazaar and say that, what, I have only $20,000. What can we do in this money? I want the best. And just because that person knows you, probably they'll try to do something. So I think it's connection. It's everywhere. It's in every industry. Today, in your industry as a podcaster, if you have influence over something, I would come to you like, can you help me out with this particular thing? It's just that.
Do you not feel like you get burnt as well from that?
But you don't have to do it always, right?
No, yeah. But
of course, if you're doing it on a regular basis, you will get burnt out.
No.
But if
burnt
it's
out.
just
burnt as in like especially if you reach out and you do a lot for a client, and that client turns out to be a dickhead. You know what I mean?
That's a gamble.
I feel like, especially when, I don't know about you, but in my experience, the smaller the amount for the assigned budget, the more the demands.
That's true. That's very true.
Right?
Because they want to make the maximum out of that 20,000 dirhams.
Right.
Right. So their demands would be like, oh, I want like 5 influencers. And on top of it, I want this and that. Of course, they do that.
And in my experience, I mean, I've learned to let go of that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to let go of these kind of things because it's practically not possible. You cannot create a plan in 20,000 dirhams. So you will say that, sorry, but I would love to work with you, but this budget wouldn't work. But that you have to be like, you're not supposed to even do a second meeting for that. That's first meeting is enough. And you make it very clear that in this budget, it cannot work out. And if it cannot work out, we move on.
Because I've experienced what you were referring to earlier, where I had somebody reach out to me and he said, listen, blah, blah, blah. Can you help out this company? Blah, 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 blah. Like, a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
And because you give them a face and you say, you know what, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
The kind of shit I got myself into, I swore to myself, I will never, 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 never take on anything like that again. And it was just ridiculous. The phone calls I would get. So we do military uniforms and stuff like that. So we do.
That's your business.
That's my second business
in Bahrain.
Okay. So we B2B organization.
Okay.
And our minimum unit order is like 1,000 units, and they came up and said we want like 10, and I was like,
that's not possible.
No.
1,000. It
is. That's what it is. And it was because of that friend. They said, listen, they're just starting their business. Blah 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 blah. I helped them out. I said, fine. I said, listen. I'll do it for you at cost.
Yeah.
I'm not earning a penny on this.
Yeah.
And I said to you, it'll be ready in 3 days' time. blah, blah, blah. I would get 3 to 4 phone calls every single day.
Oh.
And I would tell them, like, listen, this is the factory manager's number. Call them up. And they can tell you where your production currently is in the line, right?
Yeah, but you already gave them 4 days time. You asked for that time.
Exactly. But they were like, they wanted to be like, even if it was a second earlier. And it was just a disaster. And then on Deliveroo, I said, here's your delivery, blah, blah, blah. I hope you enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. Oh, thank you. Like 2 days later, be like, no, come back. The thread that, like, for the color isn't correct. I went there and I showed them the thread that this is the color you gave me. This is the color in the unit. This is exactly the same color. If you're not happy with it, go buy it from the souk. Go buy it from where you can. Bring it here and I'll use that thread. Yeah. So I did that. That was another fucking week of phone calls. And then eventually they were happy, like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks later, they contacted me again and said, we would like to place another order. And
Did you block them?
Fuck right off. I said, I don't want to know you. Don't talk to me. Don't message me. And they were surprised. They're like, we're giving you business. I said, no, you're not giving me business.
I want peace of mind.
You got an item for break even.
Yeah.
And at the end, I was so furious with them. I said, listen, I don't even want money. Just take it for free. Just don't message me.
Yeah.
And then my friend contacted me again and he was like, oh, you didn't do it right. Why didn't you not do more with them?
Yeah.
I said, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
How about yourself? Do you get that? Do you get friends who message you and be like, listen, I just started this business or coffee shop.
A lot.
Promote it?
A lot.
And
if they're really good friends, I'll just do something with them because they're my friends. But I'm not going to do this out of way thing wherein I do something via somebody at a very low cost. And no, that's not something that I just say straight, no, that's sorry, but this,
hey dear, can you help a friend of a friend?
And sometimes when those kind of requests comes up, I'm like, let me see if something fits in my content that I'm creating. If it's going to fit in somewhere, definitely. But if it's not, I'm not going to just go out of way. I'm very blunt, actually. There are people who are like friends and friends. Oh, but we have this brands and, can you like promote it? I'm like, if it fits in, yes, but I am not going to go out of my way. And it doesn't go with my profile, then I'm not going to be doing.
And how does it work for a company to contact you? Do you do it based on post or do you do it based on project? How do you...
Both, depending on what the brief is.
Okay.
So sometimes there's a project brief in terms of it's not just for one time, but they want you to work on a 3 months project or a 4 months project. So then you give a project cost.
You just did one with the suitcases, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're actually, you can say they're like one of my regular clients. Yeah, for sure. So it completely depends what the brief is. But a lot of clients are like just one time.
What was the shop called?
Shanati.
Yeah. So if you're out there listening, go check Shanati out. She just did a post about some suitcases.
Yeah, it's the largest luggage store in the Middle East, apparently.
Okay.
Not just in UAE, in the Middle East.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Best prices, best products?
All of that.
There you go. So we can turn this in snippet and you can have it. You can use it for your marketing promotion or some bullshit. There you go. Fuck it all. I hate that kind of shit. But yeah. So you do luggage and stuff like that. What else?
I work with a lot of fashion brands as well. It's fashion, watches. Recently, I did work with in Switzerland with watch brands.
You mentioned you went to Switzerland.
Yeah. So I was doing. It was my one of my things to do. Like it was in my list that I wanted to visit the watch factories, like the actual headquarters, and see how the watchmaking is done, because it always fascinated me that how these beautiful watches are made, they are the piece of art, and how is it done? So I visited ateliers, I visited the HQs, and I saw literally the watchmaking process. I did a couple of workshops to try to learn how to do that. How do you fit that dial on there, So it was a very good experience because it was completely new for me, and I always wanted to do it. So this was what I did in Switzerland.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you promote it, they'll give you another business job.
I don't know. I didn't do it with that perspective. It was more to tick my, cross in my book. Okay, I've done it.
I was waiting how often you would bring up the brand name.
Well, no. So this is what I was like, okay, I've done it. And I actually don't mind visiting again Swiss and do a little bit of more scene in terms of what's new happening in the watch world. Is just like fascinating. And I found it interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah. And of course, when you go to Switzerland, it's a beautiful place. Like, I love Swiss. It's like very calm and beautiful.
Would you move there?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind actually. But I wouldn't move to those quieter places. If I would move to Zurich or Geneva. These are the only two places. Or maybe Lausanne.
I don't know. I mean, I think you say that now. I think, but if you would go there and live there, I think you'd be bored out of your mind very quickly.
See, Dubai is Dubai, right? Exactly. You can never find Dubai anywhere else. But I'm just saying, if I have to live there for a project for, say, a couple of years, I'm working with a brand, say a watch brand, and I go settle in Geneva for a couple of years, I wouldn't mind exploring. Like, I'm open to, but but the kind of life that I have in Dubai, nobody can offer that. That's actually true, right? That comfort, that, closeness from home.
Flexibility with brands.
Flexibility with everything. And it's pretty comfortable. I know you're a great fan of Bahrain. Dan is. Yeah. But I would say Dubai gives you like a great flavor of everything, which I think we all agree to a great extent.
Listen, you're preaching to the choir. I've been thinking about either moving to Riyadh or Dubai for the past 2 years.
I mean, it's great for your work, I would say. It's central. Like Bahrain, of course, maybe it's good, not. I've not been there. I cannot comment on that. But Dubai is very central, and that's what I like. So even if I have to travel to Europe from here, it's so easy. Or you have to go to India, it's so easy. It's just so central. And I would that is one of the main reasons I would always want to keep my base here, because it's just so central.
I'll try to put it in a way that it would make the most sense. Of course, both of us are too young for this, but Bahrain is like Singapore of the 70s.
Okay.
So it's the wild, wild west. Everything is up for grabs.
Okay.
Everything is just based on wasta. Everything is almost a monopoly. I've been in meetings where a purchasing advisor told me, listen, if you want this contract, either I'm getting women, alcohol,
wow,
or cash.
Wow, that was too straight.
Just straight. And he said it in an open office.
Oh, wow.
40 people, no closed door, no, hey, come for lunch.
So it's the wasta there.
It is, forget wasta. Bakshish.
It's like sheesh.
Bakshish is what they want. And I've been in meetings where they say oh, you have to be careful on whose toes you step on, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to end up in a knife with your back.
Okay.
So it's very raw.
Wow.
There's a lot of opportunity for a lot of mischief, if that's what you're into.
Really? Interesting.
It's weird. It's so weird.
Okay.
You can do things
all
like
what
that.
I've heard about Bahrain, from people is Saudi people go to Bahrain on the weekends to party, apparently, is what I know of. And other than that, I've not experienced either Saudi or Bahrain firsthand. So I have no firsthand experience. It's only what I've heard.
I talked to a taxi driver once, and he told me that there's a flight that comes with a flight from Russia that just has Russian girls in it.
It goes to Bahrain?
It goes to Bahrain, just a whole airplane. This is what the cab driver said. He said it's just Russian girls.
And you believe him?
He said that it comes once a week, and he says the girls come in, the girls come out, and then it's just switch next girls.
Whoa.
And it's almost like a laundromat.
Wow.
That's what he said.
This cabbie is really keeping an eye on people.
A lot of them are ex-military.
Oh, okay,
yeah, they don't find other jobs, so they end up as
interesting.
In Bahrain, you'll often sit next to a guy, a cabbie, and you talk to him, and he'll tell you stories. Yeah, I was a helicopter military fighter, blah 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 blah.
Oh my God, really? Okay, here in Dubai, you will either find Pathans from Pakistan or Indians from.
Well, they hate Indians though.
South India. Yeah, I mean, because Pakistan and India always have this conflict going on. Although I have very, very good Pakistani friends here. And even now today, like when I tell
it wasn't a country until 1947.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, but they are fighting for the rights apparently. But so when in India I have Pakistani, they're like, you have Pakistani friends, you're a traitor. I'm like, yeah, but I live in Dubai and I have, of course, I work with Pakistanis. I have Pakistani friends and they are just like us. It's the differences between the countries. It's not that they don't want Kashmir. It's the borders and the governments who want things, but they are like normal people like us. So
prior to
people don't understand that.
Prior to the migration, where you were already living, where Pakistanis were living in that house.
Seriously, I don't know why. This fight is going on forever since then, and still people die because of the Kashmir issue. So many of them.
Yeah, I remember. I read the book. What is it? The Gujarat riots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was a very weird book. Because the author, she claims that she has like audio tapes and videos and all this kind of stuff. She never published anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. Some of these texts could be like setups. I don't know.
Well, Modi was governor.
I haven't read it. Yeah, Modi is the government right now.
No, he was the governor
at that time.
At the time when the riots were happening.
Well.
Yeah.
Only people who knows. We don't know the real thing. We really don't know.
He's been pretty wild at the moment, Modi, especially with his like anti-Muslim talks and stuff like that.
I think he's trying his best to do whatever he can, I think.
Yeah, but India was never like purely Sikh or Hindu. That was never India's history.
India, that is of course, Muslims were almost like close to a majority.
No, I meant in the sense of like India, even as a nation, was never a country, even before the UK, because it was small kingships.
Yeah, but it's still the kingships, right? But now kingships as in there are so many different states in India, which were ruled by kings at that time. And then the British Raj came into picture and then things happened like Mahatma Gandhi
but that's my point.
All of that.
It never had like a shared culture. It never had a shared language.
Absolutely. But
right?
but to manage a nation with such a population, which is massive, you need to have a proper government system. And
so what would be the best if given you the choice? How would you solve the education and exams issues? Because a lot of them say, hey, it's unfair that the exam papers are in Hindi. Or in Hindi, and a lot of people make an advocate saying the exam paper should be written for the language of that specific area, which is impossible. That's a lot of work.
If you're talking about state boards, of course, they are in the regional languages. It could be in the regional languages, but if we are talking about the boards which are everywhere across the country, it's practically not possible. And in most of so Hindi is the language, but that's not what is spoken in all the states. They have their own dialect, right? And of course,
their own language sometimes.
They have. It's completely. And so for example, if I go to Kerala, I don't understand that language, right? Or if
Kashmir
is still manageable because a lot of Urdu. And Rajasthani, Gujarati, these are very inspired by each other. You understand these languages, but when you go to the south, they have different languages. But I feel you need to have one common language so that's how the nation is connected. Because if you don't have that, then of course you'll do your own thing, right? Which people are right now doing. So, but most of the people in school right now, it's English, So all the exam papers are in English. There's no talk, it's not about the regional languages anymore. People are not writing. Of course, there are regional schools, but that's not the majority. If you talk about the major cities of India, which are called the metro cities and the first tier and the second tier cities, English has become such a widely used language when it comes to education. And all the parents, they want their kids to be educated in English now because they know that today it's here and this is the world out there, you need to know one language which is universal.
So
and that's English.
Would you believe that the university, what's the big exam for university?
So for example, right now, the exam that I'm going to give, it's in Hindi. Now, I have not written Hindi after grade 10th.
Cool, good luck.
I have not written. Yeah. Of course, I teach my son and all. That's different. But if I have to like literally write the whole exam paper in Hindi, it's going to be a problem even for me. So I told them that I'm going to write the paper in English. You can have your paper in Hindi or whatever, but I don't think so. I can write like pages on pages in Hindi, because it's been a long time. But of course, I can talk fluent Hindi. But writing is something else. It's difficult. But we've been doing English for so long. Like after 10th grade, I've not studied Hindi as a subject, right? You either take science, you take maths, you take commerce, you take different subjects, but you don't really study Hindi.
Interesting.
So that's how it is. But yeah, so I'm going to write my paper in English.
And do you think that it's hard to say because there's a big government push on that the national language should be Hindi. There's a big government push that exam papers should go. I mean, Moody has been very, very upfront on this saying. And I like the guy, to be honest with you. That
but it should be see what he's asking for the language to be
and culture, by the way. It makes a big push on that
because that's how it unites also people. Right now people are doing their own thing. For example, different states have their own thing going on, but if you have to bring everyone together, there has to have a common ground, and that's what I think that's what he's trying to push for. And which is fair. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, I would fairly believe that one should. National language, you cannot have 10 national languages, right? Listen, there has to be one common language. If I have to talk to somebody in that state, they need to know basic Hindi. I'm not saying you should know crazy Hindi or you should be able to write and read and all of that, but something that you can have a conversation at least. People, I've traveled to so many states in India and they refuse to speak a word in Hindi. They will be okay if you talk to them in English, but if you ask them in Hindi, then they'll just not reply because either they don't know really or they choose not to talk. It's both ways.
No, I mean I've talked so much about these exact issues because my ex was huge against Moody. Her dad and her brother loved him.
Okay.
They met him a few times. They said, he has an incredible amount of memory. Like even if he's met you only once, he will remember your name and your face. So he
also does yoga.
Yeah. See? Well, that's another question. Do you believe women should do yoga?
Only women.
No, do you think women should do yoga?
I mean, all of us should do.
Because it's not intended for women.
No, it's for both.
No.
Who said?
From
In fact, if you look at the origin, you want me to put it?
It's okay, leave it.
Women, you are saying shouldn't not do.
No, not according to the no. What are they called? The script?
The priest?
Yeah, the
Sanskrit.
The Sanskrits.
Not really.
Yeah, we've had yogis like.
Yeah, so I know what you're talking about. So in the text, because again, it's in the religious text, it must be written that it should be performed by men.
Thank you.
In the religious text, but that is how Hindu mythology, you will see most of the things. For example, we do puja, a little puja on Diwali or Holi on different occasions. And usually it's the man who does the aarti first. Aarti is like, you decorate the puja thali and you do the aarti first. That's how culturally it's been driven. But there's nothing wrong about it. It's just because it's written by somebody in some text. You don't have to follow that exactly. And that's why nobody is really following it, honestly.
But do you not
It's a modern world. Who's following that?
The argument that they present, and they say it's because at the end of the day, it's part of a spiritual practice.
and who said the spiritual practice cannot be performed by a woman?
And their argument basis is that the entirety of the buildup from the Vedas was an intent from a perspective of what's the exercises for men. And so they believe it's like a whole
No, but I'll tell
thing.
You scientifically.
I don't know,
but,
stuff.
But on the contrary, scientifically, if you read Yoga Anatomy, which is the anatomy of our body, the woman's body is perfect for yoga, in fact, anatomically. You see the women's curves, like the way the hips are, that is a perfect yogic body. Wherein for a man it's all tight, the hip is like tight, the hip bones are not like that flexible.
Men's hips
and
are not
in fact
for birth.
Exactly, so you are not even you're bodily also not that flexible for yoga. If you have to sit down right now, like women can do it much easily than if a guy has to sit down, in like cross-legged position, but we can do it very easily. So there are so many asanas which are like anatomically made for women. I can literally, like for example, a butterfly pose. A woman can do it beautifully. We deliver babies, it's so easy. So anatomically, women's body is great for yoga. And what Lord Krishna said, which is the master of all lords in our religion, right? He said it in Bhagavad Gita.
I did it in Indian for 4 years. I know all about it.
Right. So in Bhagavad Gita, he said that, when he was talking about yoga, it's like, so there's karma yoga and there is bhakti yoga and different sort of yoga, right? So he said that I want yoga to be part of people's life. Like he kind of was spreading this knowledge from the very starting. And this is why apparently he told Arjun the importance of yoga. Okay, that why yoga is so important in your life. And from there it went to, then it kept going to Surya Devta and whatever, different process. But it was never said that it's not for women. Like no text exactly says that it's not for women. What is written in Vedas, because a man is preferred to do any sort of religious activities over women. Right, because women, they get the menstrual cycle, wherein men doesn't have that. So that's why they're considered the purest form, right? But on the contrary, this thing with what happens to women is also a purifying cycle.
Okay.
In the text I'm talking about, it's a purifying cycle. So I completely disagree with the yogis who've said that women are not supposed to be doing it. Yes, in the text it's written, but who has written that text?
Because we've had babas on and they talk about it.
Yeah, because they're babas on, right? So probably because they're babas, they were trying to, not accepting the fact that women can do it, but women beautifully can do yoga. And in fact, some of the women are, I know so many women who are like class apart.
Like I said, their whole argument on the Pace's point is that yoga is both a physical practice and a spiritual practice. And the spirit and the exercises reflect the spiritual, like the spiritual reflect the exercises.
I know why they are bringing the spiritual thing, just because of the menstrual cycle, and that's why they are connecting it with the spiritual thing. But it's
their pitch is that the exercises.
So you're not supposed to be doing. So you are not supposed to be practicing yoga. That is also because you can physically get really tired during those 4-5 days. And that's why it's been written in anatomically. It's been said that you should rest out that time because you are physically so tired. You're already draining, So you don't want to drain your body more. Just relax during that time. Because that's your purifying, you're just, just relaxing that time. And other than that, there is no way.
Well, I can only tell you what I heard. And they're saying
honestly, I've heard about it, that people say this, that it's written in text. But I'm reading so much text right now for my exams that are coming up, whether it's anatomically or Gita or, the Bhagavad Gita that I just spoke about. It's not written that women cannot do these things.
Their argument point is that the exercise and the routines causes more issues towards the woman's body, it changes their mentality, all this kind of stuff.
It's not true. Trust me.
I'm just being the devil's advocate. I don't know this,
these kind of, I'm not a religious preacher. I don't know religiously if they're saying it, but yoga anatomically, scientifically, or whatever way, it's not true for sure. I mean, this is what of course, they must be studying for last 15, 20 years and they've read it somewhere in the text. But whatever knowledge I have for the last 3 years, I don't agree to this.
They have some crazy stuff. They say your life expectancy, your middle point of your life was 60. And so people used to get 120 years old and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, today, if I, right now I said my age was 39 and you said, you don't look 39.
You look 26, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's nothing to do with aging. I'm doing yoga for the last 3 years, but 3 years have not changed my skin. I mean, it's genetics. And then, of course, with the help of yoga, you're like, you're doing so much balancing in your body that from your hormones to your skin, elements, everything are well taken care of, right? So I don't think so it's just because you start yoga at 60 or whatever age and you can live up to 120, how good you are. Like, are you, for example, you're doing yoga, but are you like always bitching? Are you like always that person who's like showing the right thing but doing the wrong thing? Who are you? It depends on all. Your life doesn't increase just by doing just because you're doing some sort of exercise. Let's not just call it yoga for any sort of exercise. It's about how happy you are as a person.
This is the interesting part, because these guys always go about saying, oh, the Vedas, you have to do the exercise, you have to do the religious practice, you have to do the diet, because there's 3 diets?
People who do religious practices have to live for 120 years.
That's all that nonsense what they talk about. Listen, I'm not selling it. I don't have a stake in this.
But
I can only tell you what I hear.
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying that. Okay, so for example, in Islam, you do prayers 5 times a day, right? In Hindus, I'm
not religious, but go on.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just trying to tell you a difference. Like, you're supposed to do prayers 5 times a day if you are, following Islamic culture. Not supposed to. It's like they do it.
Sure.
They religiously do it.
Sure.
Where in our culture, in Hindus also, we are supposed to be praying, but there's no hard and fast rule. Like, if I believe in it, I get up in the morning, I do my little puja, okay? But if I don't believe in it, it's not like I have to do it. I mean, what I like about the 5 times prayer in Islamic religion, it's discipline. It's about how disciplined you are. It's not about the prayer.
Okay. It also destroys
this is
your
what
knees.
about this is what I feel. I'm not trying to make a religious statement here, but what I feel is it's about how disciplined you are and how much you believe in it, right? Nobody can force you to pray if you don't believe in it. So it's belief. Belief comes, of course, from your house, because you as a children, when you were kids, you were being told, you're supposed to pray, you're supposed to pray, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, you're supposed to behave like this. These are childhood beliefs, right? So one is a belief. But this is a good belief if you're doing something, it's a discipline that you have built up in your life. So I feel it's not about how much you pray, how you pray, when you pray. It's to bring in that discipline to your life. It brings in that routine to your life that, okay, this 5 times I'm supposed to do this. So how I use this in my culture is I make sure that when I wake up in the morning, before everything else, shower, and then I do my prayers. So this is to bring in discipline. Otherwise, I would be sitting probably till 12 in the afternoon, not taking a shower and just sitting.
I love how you say this as discipline, where I see this as, maybe this is anecdotal evidence, but the people that I know who pray, 5 times or very religious practices are some of the worst people I've ever met in my life.
That's what.
It's bizarre. They use it as like a almost like an armor for doing stuff that, any normal person would be like, no, you can't do that.
If religion, if these religious practices made a person amazing, then the world would be wow. Because so many people followed so many different sort of religions, and they have their beliefs. But then why are crimes happening, or why are wrong things happening? Why are people getting killed, murdered, executed? I don't know what all is happening in the world, right? All sort of things are happening. But if you believe so much, a religion teaches you, and I'm sure in no book it's written that you are supposed to use the word religion for your own benefits. Nowhere it's written. Any culture we talk about, right? But people are using it as their own, the way they want to. It's an excuse.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't call it that it's because I'm religious I do it. I don't think so I do it because of religion. I wouldn't care less about that. I do it because I want that discipline in my life and I like that way of routine in my life.
So how much of the Vedas do you follow? Do you do the diets?
No, I mean...
There's some doctors that prescribe the diets now to people.
Not really. I mean, diets... For example, I design my own diet. I know what is good for me. I need so much protein. I'm a vegetarian, for example. So I need to make sure that I cover my proteins. I need to make sure I'm getting enough carbs and minerals and vitamins, everything together. I design my meal. I don't have to go to a doctor to design my meal. People go to doc or a dietitian because they just want a systematic thing that, okay, someone has written it and I just have to follow it. But you can design your own meal. Like, what you need for your body and you design it accordingly. But if you feel... Of course, if you're not feeling well or you're trying to solve a particular issue, for example, you're obese or, your PCOD or I don't know, there are different issues in your body and then you want to go to a doctor for a diet, it's a different thing. But I think in general, not everybody needs a dietitian. I don't believe so.
Well, I mean, dietitian isn't a real degree. Nutritionists are
nutritionist,
a real degree. Dietitian is any asshole can put
nutritionist,
that out.
I mean,
it's like a toothologist. That doesn't matter.
So nutritionist, if you read things like we are all well read, we know what we need for our body. I'm talking about not our generation, but you must be much younger than. But I'm saying, you know what I'm talking about. Like we know what is required for our body, so we design our meal accordingly. But if you just you don't have the motivation to do that, then you go to a nutritionist or a dietitian.
We're about 8 years apart.
So,
I don't know.
But still, 8 years is a good difference to have a different outlook. So, if you're dealing with an issue...
I've met people who are 15 and on the show who've written 3 books.
Okay.
By the time they were 17, and I've met people who are in their 50s and they act like a child.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else you want to bring up quickly?
We've talked about most of it. Anything
How would people find you? How would people interact with you? What kind of business do you like working with? I'm trying to give you a sales pitch for yourself.
All right. Yeah, sure. I mean, when it comes to people, I'm pretty easygoing. Like, I got along well with you as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Which everyone does get.
You make it sound like I was torturing you.
No. It was a fun chat. I don't know how much is going online out of this, but I think we spoke a lot about different things.
Well, trust me, this is still.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. And so in terms of work now, of course, my focus is to create more good video content. That's what I'm going to focus more on because that's the way forward. And I hope that I go a little bit out of my comfort zone as well. And
more scripted content or
not script? No, I'm not looking to do scripted stuff, but I think probably more creative stuff, something that would be more engaging in terms of and more real. So I'm looking more at that. So that's the idea. And of course, travel a lot, work with tourism boards around. I love doing that. I love traveling. We are always...
Dan did a bunch of strange stuff. You had one where guys were eating crickets or something. Mm-hmm. Then you had fashion where some dude would try doing outfits for...
That's strange to you, but that's very normal. It's like a stylist.
Oh, you were doing styling?
No, I was the creative director of a publication for it.
Oh, very cool. That's so cool.
So if that's the avenue you want to go to,
you
can give you at least a bunch of ideas on. But most of that was scripted, no? Or was it candid?
Scripted as in you kind of define how you're going to be doing, but it's not like verbatim anything.
My advice to you, if you want to have it, is the more scripted it is, the easier it is in production.
Oh, is it? But today we didn't do anything scripted.
Yeah, because this is also a very candid conversation. If you were telling me, hey, I want to do a shoot where I explain to people how to put an outfit together, first thing I would tell you is hey, where's location?
Yeah, decide on everything. Of course.
What are your
No,
talking
of course,
points?
that goes without saying. Location, camera, concept. What I was talking when I said scripted, as in I was talking about like a written script that your dialogue kind of thing.
Even then, I would tell you take out your phone and go on notes and write it down, because then when you're on camera, you have it in your mind what you want to say about that outfit, rather than like you look at this is very nice.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
So next year, I want to focus a lot more on my yoga as well. Wellness is going to be big for me next year, I think, since I'm studying as well now.
You want to do like a
No,
course?
not YouTube tutorials and stuff, but create content with what I'm learning. So use that content, probably what I'm learning, use it in my content as well, because that's going to be a majority of my time for next year, where I'm studying continuously for next 2 years. So I was thinking, might as well, since I would be studying new things, knowing new stuff, try to create content around that. And
is that where you want to fit it in within your content, or do you want to do a class where you offer it to people? Or you're not sure?
Class as well. Yeah. Class I'm already offering. Yeah. Classes I already take.
And do you do what, like group or one-on-one?
Yeah, both actually, depending on the times, etc. So right now I'm doing group as well as one-on-one, which is just the private training.
And if somebody wants to reach out to you, for example, to get a course,
they can text me on my Instagram, not a creepy DM, a good DM saying they would love to learn yoga from me or something like that. And if they have, obviously,
your handle?
Yeah, it's called Jive with Deepti, JIVEWITHDEEPTI. So you could just find me on Instagram. And I'm actually on Instagram. I don't do so much of Snapchat, which I think is very famous in GCC. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram, and do follow me. And
I'm working hard to sell your pitch than you are.
I don't know. I think I'm not that good in selling like that. Like it's just like.
So fine. What is it? Mostly Indians or Westerners or Arabs?
So in terms of the breakup of audience, of course, it would be a lot Asians.
For your yoga class, I'm talking about.
Yeah, a lot more Asians. But yeah, anybody can do it. Like
you don't want
Arabs.
to open a studio or something like that?
Not right now, because it's a huge investment, and there is already too much happening in here right now in yoga. So I want to really first finish my course as an MA, which is yoga science, and then probably see later on. There are already so many studios, so it's always better to just take PTs because you make good money.
And why don't you, if you're doing the PT thing, why don't you work with like a company from Alibaba to get your own yoga stuff designed? Yeah. That way you can do two things at once.
Yeah, so I did think of that. But again, I was looking for something very unique in terms of ideas. Again, so many people are doing it. How do you stand out?
Well, if you're doing PT classes on one-on-one? Yeah. Right? Why don't you do? I'm guessing, how do you sell it? By hour or by class?
By hour and by package.
So why don't you?
It's like a monthly package.
So why don't you do for like a lost leader enterprise where you try to sell up someone on the package, and then you give them, let's say, a yoga mat that has your branding on it, right? Or that's yoga shorts or tops,
like accessories or whatever.
Straps, the blocks, that could be all with your branding on it.
Sure.
And that's a trigger that every time they're using it, that's
they would remember
you, right?
Yeah, sure.
And then you could, if I was in Europe, we've had people on the show who are PTs and are doing online classes like on Zoom and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's what I do as well.
It's working for them. We had one girl who has now 3 people on the team. What was her name? Gemma. Who had 3 people on the team now helping out. And she does like 20 people per class. Something like that. Yeah. She tries to keep it. She tries to keep 20 per class and does, I think, 3 or 4 a day, just so in order to
and
manage.
honestly speaking, in a day, if you're doing 4 classes, that's more than enough because you get drained out. More than 4, 5, it's like too much to do.
Well, that's why she
And
has
you have
somebody helping out.
Yeah,
and then
you
she
have
just
to do
points
that.
at-
Yeah, you just have to do that. So 3 to 4 classes a day is like more. And I with the other kind of things as well that I'm doing, I cannot practically do more than 3 classes, to be honest, because like if I have to physically be there or take the classes personally, because I have to create content on other stuff which I'm already doing. Then L'Espresso as well. So yeah, there's a lot happening. Plus taking care of a child.
Of course.
Is a handful.
Of course. But at least you can do that
And,
at home, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's flexible. I can do it from anywhere.
yeah.
Even if I'm traveling, I can do it.
Plus, you can get at least someone to help out to your sister, your
sure.
brother, and then you can still do the online class at your
Yeah,
home, which means you don't have to travel anywhere, which is even better.
Of course.
Yeah, I like how I'm explaining your own business.
No, I mean, this is how I'm doing it right now. Like, online. And then online class can be taken from anywhere in the world. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to cancel anything, with your schedule. You just fit it in. So, yeah, that's something. And other than that, brand collabs. Let's see what comes up next year. I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be a good 2023, I suppose. And thank you so much
And that's a wrap,
for having me here. It was fun.
Sorry for making you so late.
That's good. It's fine. We have finished almost, a lot of conversation.
Oh my God. Pleasure is all mine. Let me go.